Hello and welcome to PM Personality Profile. I am Nana Nsakwal IV, Chief of the very little Republic of Akwamu-Edumasa, and I love doing this. Getting the opportunity to know people who have a story to share. And I said, no, we all have a story, whether it's a sad one, it's a good one, an inspiring one, but there's always a story that motivates someone. And I'm here today to listen to one such story. Very, very noble, successful businessman, Mr. Sarpong, simply described as a quarry magnate, went into quarry with 10 fingers. And you know something? He says, Nana, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And that's one thing that the personality series is bringing. People's story, people's defining moments that shape each and every one of us. And that's one thing that I'm taking away today, that tough times don't last, but tough people do. So how tough are you? And that's one story we're going to hear from Mr. Sarpong. Went into quarry with 10 fingers and today owns four major quarries. It did not happen overnight. So to the young ones and millennial children who think that it has to be get rich quick and, eat breakfast and by dinner you should be successful. These are some of the stories to inspire you that yes, success is definitely yours, but you must work at it. When I come back, we're going to hear the story of how it is that this noble man became a successful man. Don't go. Well, thank you very much for staying, and we're here to talk to the boy from Kwesihun. And through his noble life, I think he's earned the default Openyin Yaw Sarpong. I mean, there are certain things that when you do in life, you go beyond Mr., you go beyond doctor and professor, you earn yourself Openyin Yaw Sarpong. Mr. Sarpong, thank you very much.
Okay.
Openyin Yaw Sarpong, thank you for granting me this interview that I have been chasing for years. And I guess persistent pays. So thank you for granting us this interview.
Okay.
And we're going to go all the way back to Kwesihun. At the time, growing up then, would you have known that your life would have been like this today at that time growing up?
Thank you very much, Nana. I wouldn't say yes or no, but since I was growing up, I knew that I'm going to be successful.
That's good.
Because in my younger age, I predicted it.
That's beautiful. Now, that's settled. So, who was your father, who was your mother, and what was your upbringing?
Nana, all these Kwawu people, they're all from Ashanti region.
Okay.
And they came to settle on the mountain there, where we call the Quarry. So my father was from this town from, well, when I remember, I'll tell you where my father comes from. So they came to settle at Kwesihun, Quarry. At that time, I think it was in the 50s, I'm not so sure. Basically to come and do farming. My father's name was Openi Kofi Usu. So that is how it happened.
Okay, and mom?
Amasewa.
Amasewa.
They are all in blessed memory.
I see,
yes.
I see. So you were born in Kwesihun?
I was born in Kwesihun.
Schooled in Kwesihun?
Schooled in Kwesihun. Started my life in Kwesihun. So now.
So you did primary to standard 4?
At that time, our education system was SAR 7. I think you do 10 years.
Okay.
And you finish from 4, and that's about it. You can federate if you know somebody in the big towns to travel to start to further your education. But as I sit here now, I can tell you, those days education was enough to let anybody move on in life.
Start in life, definitely,
yes.
Definitely. And so you started as a teacher?
Yes, I started as a teacher in the same Akwesihu.
Same Akwesihu.
I completed education, the Form 4 education in 1971.
Okay.
And the exam day was 13th August.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that one. We have to travel to Nkoko to come and do what we call it hall.
Okay.
So at that time we came to Nkoko, did the exams, and that's about it. And you have to start life because you've completed your education. So you decide where to go, whether to further or to start something else.
I see. So, and you started as a teacher, obviously.
I started as a teacher in the same school that I went.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. Enjoyed life as teacher, or?
Yes, I did.
You did?
I did enjoy life as a teacher. Yes.
Then from teaching, what happened?
Nana, from teaching, my parents wanted me to be a farmer. But to be honest with you, for a long time as a farmer, a son of a farmer, going to Kodobeda, if you are carrying a load coming, it was too much for me. And I decided, no, I have to move on. At that time, there was a very prominent man named J.K. Siang, Tata Brewery.
Yes.
He has started Tata Brewery. And that time, my father's brother, who's my uncle these days, but we will call it our father.
Of course.
He has taken him to Denmark to go and learn brewery. His name was Mr. Otin, S.K. Otin. So when they came back and they started Tata Brewery in Accra here, Chimota to be precise.
Which is a mega brewery then.
Big one.
Mega brewery.
Big.
Is it ABC?
ABC, now ABC.
Now ABC.
It was Tata Brewery.
Tata Brewery.
Yes. So anybody in Akwesihu, when you come to Accra, you find job automatically because you come from Akwesihu, and Siao is the owner of Akwesihu. And fortunately for me, my father was a brewery house manager. You know how brewery house, why brewery house?
No.
Brewery house means that, how do I say? He brews the whole, before you get the beer, you have to brew it by malt. So when you brew it by malt, you put in the sugar, it goes back to the cold room before they put in the hops, and it becomes an alcohol. So my father is the one who prepares everything from 1 to Z.
He was a big boy.
It was a very big boy.
Wow.
Yes, without him, there would be no beer.
There's no beer. No Christmas.
No. Yes.
So from teaching, you came to Accra.
So I came to live with my father in Accra.
SK
Otin. He's a big man, and everybody is from Akwesihu. So anybody who comes from Akwesihu will automatically find job in Tata. So my thinking was, I'm coming to my father and I get job in Tata Brewery. But anytime I ask him, oh, you come to the factory. When I go to the factory, go and ask for a job. Oh, I want to come and work with you. Say, oh, your father is SK Otin. When he tells us we should take you, automatically we are going to employ you. So why do you come and access while your father is there? When I go and ask SK, Papa, I want to work. Even for nothing at all, I can work with the cutting boys. So you take your time. 1 year, take your time. 2 years, take your time.
Wow.
I said, no, this
one. Not working.
This is not working. So I have to call my mother that I've not been able to get employment here. That was the time it dawned on me that I think I've not been destined to work for anybody. So definitely I have to do my own. So my cousin also came. He's Opukwentri. He was that time working with National Investment Bank. Came to the village, to Nkoko, said, but why are you here? And I told him my story. So, come live with me in Accra. So I came with him in Accra. He was that time working, so I was in the house. At that time, we were staying at Latebia Koshi. He also couldn't find me any meaningful job. And I told him, Master, I can't live here any longer. So I want to go back. I went back to the village Akwesihu. And I came to stay with my mother, the senior one at Nkoko, asked her that, look, I want to learn trade. So I want to be a tailor.
So you went back to Nkoko?
I went back to Nkoko and studied the tailor. And within some months, I was successful. So life was good at that time. Unfortunately, too, because I know Accra, I was able to find contract at GNTC, where we call it Ghana House those days.
Oh, so you had your product at GNTC?
Oh, yes.
Hey,
GNTC.
designer labels.
Oh, of course, yes.
What was your label?
The name was Landmarks.
Landmarks.
Yes. So I've got business.
Okay.
So,
what were you doing? Like shirts
ladies'
or?
skirt. I was expert, ladies' skirt.
I see.
And then children's wear.
I see.
Yes.
Have you ever done a skirt for your wife before?
Oh, I don't think so.
You should surprise.
Oh,
you
yes.
must surprise
Yes.
her. But do you remember how to do it, or you forgot it?
No.
To sew?
No, I can.
You can cut
Of
and
course,
sew?
yes. It's in the mind. So if I decide to do it, why not? I can.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
When I see a straight line, I
You
can
know-
tell you this is a straight line or crooked line.
I see.
It's in here. So we were in it then, 1979. You all know it.
Control price.
Control price. And GNTC was no more.
So that was the end
So-
of Landmark.
Landmass.
Maybe it was a good destiny, but
Of
let's
course,
see.
yes.
You never know.
Yes, it was cut short. So what do we do? Then okay, I started to do business. And
With the savings you got from Landmark.
that's right, yes. Small here a little, there a little. Till I think, to cut long story short, I decided to go to construction. So that time, I had the opportunity to buy a truck, man diesel truck.
By this time, had you been to Togo and back, or
No, Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast?
Yes. Yes, I've been to Ivory Coast and back.
You-
We went and stayed at Bontuku. From Sampa, there's a village there, or a town called Bontuku. There also, I went and studied masonry. And my master was called O.P. Solo.
Memories, eh?
Oh, yes. O.P., I think he drinks Pito every 5 minutes. So if you give him a mortar at the top there and he asks him for water, just use it as water to soften the mortar.
Mortar.
Yes. So I was there, so no, I have to come back. And I came back and...
But did you finish your apprenticeship as a mason?
oh, not quite.
Not
No,
quite.
no, no. I wasn't interested at that time because the height. In fact, I'm scared of height, so I
It
didn't want to
wasn't
take
sitting well.
No, it wasn't sitting well with me, so I have to come back. Yes. So we started small as a businessman. And if I can remember, I think I met one man called Mr. Brempong, and they were doing the Rose Toilet Road in Teba. And he introduced me to one, that man I think is dead, one white man. And I discussed with him I wanted to do business. And he helped me for the first time to go to Taipei. Yes, Taipei. Honestly, when I get there, what I saw, Nana, in every house in Taipei, at least there's a little industry. Oh, of course. So when they heard that somebody is coming from Ghana, come and see. Everybody thought he was a big businessman, so they are bringing their brothers to come and show him. I can't even rest. So after that one, I think, if I can remember, we started business in Ghana, here and there, and then a friend, Kojo Bedin, is no more anyway, said, Yaw, why don't you travel to London? Because this Accra-London trip, I think you can make it when you get there to come and get something to come and sell. So, Nana, I took his advice.
Let me take a quick break here and then come back and continue as to what happened in London. Don't go. Thank you very much for staying, and I'm here talking to Opanyin Yaw Sarpong. Life and times. Done a bit of teaching, ran away from farming, didn't get a job at Tata Brewery, tried his hand at tailoring, landmark designs, tried a bit of masonry, and now we are into import, export, and you're going to London to bring goods.
Yes. In London, the main product I was selling was folder water.
Okay.
You know what is called folder water?
The praying thing.
Yes. Folder water, sprays, curtain bags, and yes. So those was the things that, my first trip, those was the things that I brought into the country. Unfortunately for me, it sold well.
Okay.
So I started the business, Accra, London, Accra. At that time, the ticket, I think it was about 6 cities.
Wow.
At that time.
The city had respect, you see.
Of course.
They've always been disgraced.
Yes, yes. So I can travel to London twice even in a week, sometimes. We were in that business, and things started to slow down again. So we have to find something else permanent to do. So I decided to go into construction.
Wow.
Yes. So as I told you, I was able to buy a truck for 6 cities. UTC at that time, man diesel truck.
Do you remember the number?
No, I don't think. I don't think I can remember the number. Yes, but
what color was it?
it was green color.
Green color.
At that time, they were constructing something at the harbour.
Okay.
So somebody came to hide the truck to harbour, and they put a label on it, Kia Construction. And the guy never paid me for 3 months.
Wow.
So I decided to withdraw my truck and come back and supplying sand and stones. So I had a friend, and they have a construction company, and he gave me the contract, the first contract to supply stones and sand to him at Tema. The name of the company, I think it was Fundamental, yes. Ua and Kwanza. So we started supplying stones, sand, and when you go and look for the stone, you can't get them. That time we were constructing the housing project at the beach area, Tema. And the only place you can get stones is to come to Stan Orusu Quarry, or you go to Ghana Stone Quarry at Weija. When you look at McCarthy Hill, the people are sitting on rocks. We call it Cossite. When you come to look for the stone, sometimes you queue 3 days, you won't get it.
Wow.
So I was thinking, this stone business. So I contacted the managing director at that time. He was from Germany. He's called Kono. He said, Kono, look, if you can't supply stones, I think you need more quarries. So of course, yes, we can't meet the demand. So if you want to establish a quarry, it's a good business. I asked him, is it a good business? Oh yes, I'm not lame. It means fine.
So it must be good.
Yes, it must be good. So I went to J. Stanley Owusu. I said, Daddy, this business, when we come here, we don't get anything. Always we have to wait, deposit your money, this and that. So I want to start something. So, well, it's a good business, but it's a business that you can't bath and put perfume behind your ears and go and sit somewhere. So if you can hands-on, then it's good. Okay. So I started to think about it. And you know, fortunately, Ghana, I don't know, we have an institution called, these people, it's very near to TUC. When I remember the name, I'll tell you. Geological Survey Department.
Okay.
I went there and met one Mr. C. Fortunately, my brother has also worked there as a surveyor before.
Okay.
So when I discussed, so go and see a CEDU, maybe you'll be able to help. When I went there, a CEDU took a book and a map, said, look, let's go here, we can get stones. So we went to Budubram. That's where my first quarry started.
Okay.
And showed me where I can get stones. Although the stones was buried, just small outcrop, but he said, you can mine here more than 100 years because the stone is under there. So I started to work on it. Go to the ministries, look for license. After the license, I told you I went there with my 10 hands. You have to get machines to work. At that time, I think I needed just about 1,000 cities, 10 million to start. It wasn't easy to come by 10 million to start such business. So I think it was by a miracle that somebody came to tell me that there's a machine somewhere. You see, I was a member of the Resurrection Power and Living Bread Christian Center. And that time, we were meeting at Globe Cinema. So we decided to build a sanctuary for the Lord. So what we did was that we printed tickets. And then when you go, a friend buy a ticket, you write it, and then you send it to the church. And I told them, look, I'm going to sell more tickets than everybody. So when I come to you, say, look, this is a project that we are doing. So help us. If you give me anything that cannot buy one bag of cement, I won't sell a ticket to you. So my friend at that time, was it Asalam Down, Mr. Wuan Ponsan of Fundamental Construction, was also a member of the church. So one day somebody came to the office and I said, look, my friend, Kwekuata, I'm selling ticket for our church project. If you give me less than one bag of cement, I will accept. So we were confessing and asking, he said, what do you want to do now? I said, look, I want to start a quarry. Nobody knew about quarry at that time. So he said, look, I've seen some quarry machines lie in the bush somewhere. So if you wouldn't mind, I will let you go and look at it. Very far away. So Kwaku, I'm interested, let's go and look at it. We went to the bush, and lo and behold, we saw 2 jaw crushers in the bush with the liners and everything. What we did not get was the motors that runs the crusher. So to cut long story short, I was able to acquire that machine. Wow. And that's how come I started the quarry. So I brought it to Wudubram. That time was when the Liberians were fighting. So the UN has brought them to Liberia camp, where my quarry is to come and settle. At that time, my truck was only one. And I have to travel, I think, about 1 kilometer to where my quarry faces to bring the boulders to come and crash. And after bringing the boulders to come and crash, if you tip it down, we have to use our hands to feed the machine.
Hey.
Oh, yes.
No payload?
Nothing. So let me tell you something. These UN people, they brought some wheelbarrows to these Liberians. So we went and hired them. If I hire your wheelbarrow, your wheelbarrow today, the next day I won't come to you.
Why?
Yes, it will be damaged.
Yes.
If you use it continuously for 2-3 days.
I know.
Yes. So when I hire it today from you, I'll go and hire some small, and then the Liberians were so many that it wasn't safe to crash in the ground town, so I have to move to to where the quarry is now.
Wow.
So how I started, when I get money, I buy one electricity pole. When I get money, the next day I'll buy. And I think I needed about 30 poles to get to the quarry site. And by the grace of God, I was able to get power to the site. And that's how I was able to.
This was the period where you were using your famous pickup.
Yes, when I started. One day I was coming from Kaswa. At that time, it takes you more than 1 hour. I was living at Tesano to get to Kaswa, to Budumram, to be precise. One day I was coming, I was using a single cabin pickup. A friend sold it to me at 900 cedis. It was new when I started.
Okay.
So after some months, you see, because we come to timber market, look for iron, rollers, there. I mean, the bucket was completely gone. I was coming, then the woman was stopping me. Papa, jira. Mama, what's the problem? Oh, I have some file here if you can use your car.
If you come and load that firewood for
yes.
her, you just have to smile and drive on.
Yes, I
But there was
remember
a bigger
that.
picture.
It was a bigger picture.
Yeah, it was a bigger picture.
Yes,
And so gradually that one was set up.
till date.
Wow.
Yes. So I decided to expand. So I had one also in Kumasi, Buong, to be precise. I have one quarry there. And then I have one in Obogu, in the Santiachim area. And another one too in Kuforidua.
Wow.
Ready to start. That's how come I had those quarries. Yes.
But I don't know, maybe you were destined to be quarry because your passion for stone and rocks is very high.
No, Nana, you see, after venturing into that industry, I can tell you that if Ghana want to succeed, I'll repeat, if Ghana want to succeed, that is the industry that people should look at.
Really?
What I'm telling you. But it looks as if nobody wants to listen to us.
But somebody will say it's just stones. I mean,
No, it's just tools. But what I'm trying to say is that, look, the Lord who created us gave us that stones for a purpose. And he said in his own words that, look, Onipa, if you get somewhere to sleep, food to eat, and clothes to wear, that's all you need. And I don't think anybody needs more than these three things on this earth. It doesn't matter who you are, the money you have, all what you need is to need food to eat, get somewhere to lay your head, and then get clothes to wear. And then you are a human being. If you have money in your pocket, you don't have money in your pocket, I don't think there's anywhere in Ghana where they will search your pocket to see whether you have money or not. That's all what we need. And the Lord, in his own wisdom, has given us stones in Ghana here to make housing, and nobody pays attention to it. So for me, if the people in authority will think and know that stones is something that we need to prosper, if anybody calls me, I can elaborate more for the person to know. Because now my passion now, I can't see why a young man will start life, go and hire somebody's room, and they say pay 2 years advance, 3 years advance. The person is paid monthly. How is the person going to survive? A policeman, he's in service. Even in service, he hasn't got anywhere to live. Do you think he will get a free mind to work? No. We need this as human beings. So why are we not thinking about it? To know how we can do it.
But one would say is stone's not just one element of it, but there are so many other elements. So even if we look at stone, the rest is still going to cripple us.
Nana, what I'm trying to tell you is that if God wants to give you a gift, it's wrapped. It won't be plain. If you're looking for gold, you know how you suffer. It's the same thing. when the government comes to help for us to crash more, all the youth in Ghana would get employment. We'll be making the blocks, building the houses. The only thing that we need to build a house is the first primary commodity is the stones. You make the dust, we form blocks, you build it. Now, even if you are building in a story building, you don't need those pillars, the Wawa pillars to do that. No. There's a technology. You just cast. This is my building that we are living in. That's what I use for. Just that. So why are we not able to build houses for our own people to live in?
You think we can solve the housing problem?
Oh. Now that's my passion. And, well, I look as if nobody wanted to listen to me.
Is it because we don't believe it? I mean, we have 2 million houses upside down. You know, and so if maybe the problem is too big to even start dreaming about it.
Well, I don't think so. But it depends on the people in authority and what their agenda is. I told you, I started a quarry with 10 hands.
Yeah.
And now, by the grace of God, I can boast of about 4 quarries, although they are not operating now. But I have it, definitely operate. So why can't they decide, so look, young man, how are we going to do it? And I tell them we can do A, B, C, D. Look, we live in Accra here. Accra has expanded so much that, I mean, it's a burden. We can even divide Accra into 5 and live on 1 if we plan well. Go to Nima, go to Mamubi, go to Achimota, go to Abeka. There's no building anywhere. We are just living on the land, keke. Shells, kiosks, everywhere scattered. Whereas, if you invest properly in the quarry, the sky is your limit, because the leaders has to be responsible for the people to make sure that they get somewhere to live.
But apart from the quarry, iron rods, cement, roofing sheets, windows, doors. So how would the quarry, solve all the other problems, all the other elements that have to come together?
Nana, if you need iron rods, how many iron rods do you need to make pillars? Now, even to roof a house, the span, the beams, you don't need even iron. It's wires that we used it for. Wires. The building that you are living in is wires in the beams. You get my? You invest in concrete products. And if you invest massively, everything will come down in price. We have still factory in Ghana here, Accra here. If it's being resourced, look at the chencha markers that we've seen all around, all the metals scattered around. You know, people are exporting the scraps to Europe. So why can't we help build the steel industry very well so that they can produce iron rods for our own use? Why can't we do this? If you want somebody to work for you, you have to make sure you resource the person to do what he's supposed to do for you.
I mean, I know you're, you've gone into construction, quarry, construction. Is the next phase or the next dream going to be affordable housing?
I wanted to do that. I have so many designs. And unfortunately, I started some road construction work and hoping that I'll get paid. For 2 years, I've not been getting even 1 peso.
You're joining the queue.
I'm joining the queue. And the job that I've done, if you go to that site and look at it, you see this Ghanaian has done something for his country.
And this is from Kwesihu
to Chinrase.
To
Chinrase. According to history, they said they started in 1942.
Whoa.
And they were not able to do it till date. So one day I said, look, this road, I'll make sure I'll construct it. They thought I was joking. So I started on my own with my own money. It came to the papers. I spent some money and I was able to get the access to Chinrase. And then the government then gave me a little contract to construct 1.5. The whole stretch is about 5 kilometers. So this our present government came, and our people appealed to him that they want that road to be constructed, because actually that road, if you want to get to the top there, you need not to see the valleys that scared people to get there. So variation of that was given to me.
Is it equally steep or is it a bit more?
Nana, you need to see it. Now I've cut the stones for the first tunnel I've ever seen in Canada. I've cut the stones in the middle. So, there's no way to be afraid of the height or anything.
Oh.
If you have a problem, you can just put your car left or right. There's no problem. I cut the stones because of my quarry experience in between to put in the road.
Wow.
Yes.
All the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
But the gradient, is it as steep as the old one? Or
No.
the one that we always use?
No, you see, those, the other one, the curves are so many. This one, I think, only 2 curves. Then you get
Okay.
to the top there. Yes, only 2 curves. Just go like this, then you're on top there. So if you are coming from Kumasi, now I'm even constructing from Banka Junction. You know Banka Junction?
No.
They said they call the place called Kwasi Chop Bar on the Kumasi Accra Road. When you get there, you branch. Within 8 kilometers, you get to Akwesium 5, you get to Chinrase. Yes.
It's a shortcut.
A shortcut and very safe. To say that you are scared of the valleys in Kwawu. No.
Going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we hear the story of Kakra Kakra, Koko Benubusio. Don't go away. Well, thank you very much for staying, and this is how real life is. It just doesn't happen. You work at it, you try, you fail, you persist, you push. And one beautiful thing I learned is that tough times don't last, but tough people do. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that's a very profound.
Yes.
And that's what I'm walking away with this interview, that
Okay.
tough times don't last.
Yes, never last.
But tough people
Tough people do last.
So you have to toughen yourself.
Oh, of course, yes. That's all life is about. Because according to the author, Dr. Robert Schuller, and that's what is in my mind, that nobody has money problem. The only problem we have is ideas. So if you have ideas, money is not a problem for you. Yes. So
we have ideas problem.
Yes, we have ideas problem.
Not
That's
money
why
problem.
not money problem.
Can that apply to a nation, or is it
To
only an
everybody,
individual?
anyone.
So that's what Ghana is lacking now. Ideas.
Of course, yes,
rather
ideas,
than,
yes.
Rather than money.
Yes, than money. Our problem is not money, never at all. Because we have more than enough. We've even discovered oil. So what's our problem? It's ideas.
Ideas.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Now, since you're a businessman, since you're such a patriot, and had several conversations with you, and I can feel the pain and the passion. Would you say we have gone too far, or we still, as a country and as a people, have the opportunity to turn around?
Nana, I believe strongly that Ghana has the opportunity to turn around if we get our ideas right. For me, money is not everything. We have to think. Our politicians, what is their number? They are less than even 1,000. Put them together. They cannot think for us. A lot of people have ideas somewhere that they can share. But would they allow themselves to be taught? You call him, you can't even get him because you are nobody to him. He doesn't know you. You are not a member of his party. So why should he listen to you? He don't know you. So that is a problem that we have.
Wow. As a people, do you think we are ready to go through the sacrifice? Because you would have to sacrifice for any gain that we're looking for. Do you think, aren't we addicted to free this and I won't vote for you if you tell me to leave the pavement, I won't vote for you?
No, I think this is the second interview I'm having with you. The first one was about encroachment.
I will finish with encroachment.
Where on earth that somebody sees that we are operating a quarry here using explosives, dynamite, and even the Supreme Court law says that nobody should build close to that place 500 meters, and on top of the rock that you are blasting, somebody come and build his house there. You tell the police nothing, the assembly nothing, the government nothing. So what are we about? The main thing that we are using to develop our country, people are destroying it. Drive through Sawam and see how people have built on the rocks, granite. People import it. It's an imported product. Money. People are building on it. So what are we thinking about? Or are we reasoning as a human being?
It's a very serious point
as a
you're
nation.
raising.
No, for me, sometimes there's pain in me when I look at, because I know the worth of granite. Now, Equatorial Guinea, they import chippings.
Wow.
So are we waiting for people to destroy the chippings before we can realize that we've destroyed it? Now the quarry industry, the Chinese are taking over. Now the government should mark my word. If all quarries, the Chinese takes over, then he will see where he will get stones to construct road or to do development. This is national asset, and it should be handled as such. And they should have passion about it. Still, nobody wants to listen. State Housing Corporation is there.
I know we've done one or two shows with regards to encroachment. Has anything come out of it?
Nothing. They just don't care.
Is it because it's not too close to home? I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't want to insult anybody. Else I would say that the people in authority, most of them are selfish. If I have to say it, because they are not doing what they are supposed to do. They put you there as an assembly to make sure the law works. It's not that you don't know. Why do you sit down for this important commodity to be destroyed? Go to CP Ablekuma and see for yourself. Even the land does not belong to the people. Yet they are building houses, no permit, nothing. No site plan, no indenture, the people are building. And what pains me much is that after they put up those structures, then Electricity of Ghana go and give them power to live there. They give them light.
Wow. Even though it's a blasting zone.
Blasting zone, complete blasting zone. The Electricity Company of Ghana knows it. And it belongs to the government of Ghana. So if you don't want the people to encroach, why do you give them power to live there? It's not ESM alone. All over, Kumasi, everywhere. When you blast, people come, our roof, our this. Some people are dying through blasting in Ghana. And I don't know why they keep it secret.
Considering we are a developing nation, and developing nation, one of the major things or the first thing is construction.
Yes.
Building, roads, and stones are a primary commodity when it comes to developing.
Yes.
And so I don't know, maybe it's a silly question, but how can we need something so much and yet neglect it so much?
No, maybe I think the people in authority doesn't think about the generation, but maybe they think about the next election. Oh yes, because the people living there, when you talk to them, when you ask them, what they tell you, we are in Tuaba. So politician is scared. My own assembly, election in Bawu. So election in Bawu, there should be no law. You wait for somebody to die because Okoka yen to Abama.
And this is
it's
life
very
and,
sad.
Life and death matter.
Oh, of course, yes,
blasting.
yes. Blasting. The land does not belong to the person. He hasn't got indenture, no site plan, no permit. But in Ghana, the law says that if you are building, you need a permit. So should in case that we need the land for something else, you show your permit, that you permitted me to live here. Therefore, if you ask me to move my building, pay me. And the law will support you. The encroachers, nobody has anything. And they are living there. They are proud. Sometimes they attack us.
Wow.
Physically.
Wow. Do you think there's ever going to be an end, or there's never going to be a time we realize it, or we're going to lose it before we realize that, oops, we should have protected this?
Now, if I would tell you this, we've gone everywhere, including going to the president himself, not Nana Akufo-Addo. We went to President Mahama when he was in power. We met him at his office and told him, Nana, Mr. President, this is what is going on in Ghana. So please check it. At that time, the minister was Nana. You called me the other time when you were interviewing me. Niosa, Akando. They said we should organize a forum. I'm sorry. Why do we have to organize? We did it, but nothing happens. And this is national security issue. We are destroying our backbone. And they sit down unconcerned. The cost of construction is too high because of materials.
And we are making the materials more scarce.
More scarce because you have to travel very far to go and get a material. We have McCarthy Hill there. People are building houses on McCarthy Hill, this rock thing. Meanwhile, the place is an earthquake zone. We can use that outcrop there to do a lot of development in this country. So why do we sit down and destroy it? So we think that now what I'm telling you, nobody knows in Ghana. They know. Go to McCarthy and see. Why?
McCarthy Hill, maybe you would say it's fully developed and you can't evacuate everybody from there to smash
Why
it
do we
down.
leave it to develop for housing? In everywhere you go, any developed country, at least they leave an area just like what Achimota Forest. I don't know what is there, but they've been able to preserve. Even now, people are encroaching Achimota Forest. So why can't you leave an area where you have your resources there? And then
one would say, don't we have enough stones at Shah Hills?
Shy.
Yeah.
And they also have same encroachment problems.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
So then that is what is happening in this country.
There's sheer indiscipline.
Yes, I can say that.
Sheer indiscipline. But now that you've earned your status as Openyi Yaw Sarpong, maybe one or two directions or suggestions or advice? Which way to go?
Well, I think we should sit up as a nation and everybody should reason because of our country. A chief go and sell a land for you and you know the area is not good. It's not something hidden. When you look at it and say, oh, look, I need to build a house, don't do it. You see? So that we all live in harmony. Yes, that's not how we were taught. Getting rich today, 2 days. No, it's not like that. When you come to my town, Akwesiho, in between Akwesiho and Chunas, there's a village called Akokobenumunsu. You know how the fowl drinks water?
Yep.
Small. That is how the cows are made of. And that small, when you look at the stream, the River Pra is the only river that does not emerge with any river in Ghana. And when you get to the sea at Shama, to where your eye will see, it doesn't mix with the water, with the sea. But when you go to the source, Akokobenumunsu, it comes like a urine. So that's how the cows are made for. No cowman despises a small beginning. If you ask those people who have made it in Accra, they will tell you they put some tarpaulin on the floor, donkomi, to tabletop, to kiosks, to stores. That's how all clothes are made for. We have story to tell. Now Ghanaians think before you get rich, you have to be a politician. You sell drugs. And what again? You are a bugger or sikadru. This is all the young men are thinking about. These 4 things. So they go in for Sakawa, or they sell drugs, they are arrested, and they become a politician from nowhere. They think they've reached. But and that's not life at all.
Must respect small beginnings.
Of course, yes. Now, that's how to make you a man. You get my point? Yes.
Must respect small beginnings.
Small beginnings.
I think that's another one that I hope
Yes.
that the young viewers will walk
They
away
have to.
with.
They have to, but they haven't got the support to do that. That's my pain. When you go to everywhere, the developed countries, you see condominiums made everywhere. Before you build a house, you have to be self-actualized person. You can't just go and dig somewhere and then you are building a house. No. What about the environment?
Start small, think big, and work towards it.
Yes.
Start small, think big, and work towards it.
Yes.
Well, folks, that was one big advice for all of us. You start small, you think big, you work towards it.
Yes, that's the
But
village.
remember that tough times don't last. It's tough people who do.
Yes.
Well, I always give you the number before I go. It's 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. And that's Dantees. They give me my shirts for the show. So give them a call, get yourself a nice shirt. But I want to say massive, massive thank you to Openye Yaw Sarpong for granting us this wonderful interview. You watch it on Friday, repeated on Sunday at 2 p.m. with the family. Don't miss this. Thank you very much.